Hello, I'm Bachakis, and this is going to be part 1 of my trip to Japan videos. I cannot do it all at once because I don't have data, so it refuses to do an entire thing. But hopefully I can put it in. Hopefully I can put the pieces together well enough for you to understand. But basically, I flew from St. Louis to Dallas because we don't have a direct flight from St. Louis to Japan. So I was lucky to see the Dallas airport. It was awesome and beautiful. And I flew through American Airlines. Why am I sneezing so much? Anyways. I flew from St. Louis to Dallas and then Dallas to Tokyo. So the flight from St. Louis to Dallas was pretty hideous. Space was horrible. The airplane itself was not doing so well. But yeah, it's okay. Anyways, from Dallas to Tokyo, the airplane was awesome. It was so beautiful. I'll show you clips of the airplane. But yeah, once I arrived to Haneda Airport, Haneda Airport is very well organized, in my opinion. As soon as you arrive, it's really beautiful. Like, even their uniforms are really beautiful. But I did have to wait a huge line to go through customs. But you know, during cherry blossom season, it's gonna be like that. And the process was pretty, I want to say, simple. Like, they give you a paper, you have to write down your name, the address you'll be staying at, and all the other information it asks you. And then you'll just go through the line, they'll ask you a few questions, and then they'll let you right through if you're good to go, right? So I was good to go. I was unfortunately stinky because I could smell myself because it was like a 13-hour flight. But I went straight to the restroom. Unfortunately, I didn't have anything to clean myself, so I had to be stinky. And I went to go pick up my luggage. Okay, so I flew by myself, and I committed a lot of errors because I was supposed to meet up with my family, my brothers and my mom. They flew from Houston to their airport in Japan. I think Houston has a direct air flight. I'm not sure. I don't remember. But they were on a different airport because they were flying from Texas. And I made a lot of errors. Before I got there, I ordered a SIM, like an online SIM, and it didn't work. And I remember before I flew there, like, my friend advised me, hey, get a SIM, make sure that you have connection when you're there. So I listened to him and I did order a SIM. I even went to T-Mobile to speak to the guy there. He told me that I didn't need a SIM and that I was fine. And I was like, I don't know, this doesn't sound right. But I trusted him because he's the one that works there and I don't. But anyways, when I arrived, the online SIM that I got did not work. So I did indeed need help from T-Mobile guy to set me up for an international SIM. So please, before you fly, make sure that your SIM is working. and make sure that you get somebody that attends you well and will fix you up, because it sucks. It sucks arriving, not having signal in a country that you're unfamiliar with, and as soon as you arrive, you're just confused, right? So once I got out of the restroom, I went to go look for my luggage, and luckily, like, I could ask people there, the workers, you know, I showed them my ticket and everything, and they guided me to the right direction. They were really sweet and kind. So the hospitality in Japan is amazing. They're very helpful, and they led me to my luggage. I got my luggage, and then I had to sign this other paper where you basically have to fill out about the things that are in your luggage. You sign that out, and then you get out, right? Another mistake. I had money on my Apple Pay, but I didn't have money on my card. And I was trying to get money out through Apple Pay, but I couldn't. So I was kind of stuck at the airport. And then I managed to I can't remember exactly how I did this. I think I transferred from PayPal into my card, something like that. I can't remember exactly how it went. I was so nervous because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I wanted to cry. I'm a crybaby. I wanted to cry. I was at the airport and I was just lost. I needed money to get from the airport to the Airbnb, and I managed to get some money into a little card, your Suica card, right? I managed to get some money into a Suica card, and that Suica card is awesome. Make sure you download Suica before you get there. But I had my Suica card, and luckily Suica works if your phone dies as well. So make sure you set that up and you load it up when you get there, because I don't think you can load it up before you get there. You have to be in Japan to be able to load it up. So I managed to load up some money, and I was able to go from the airport into the subways. The subways were so confusing to me. I thought I had it because I was like, you know what? I watched enough videos. I can do this. No. I was so confused. Okay, so I was able to get on the subway. A lot of the Japanese people there helped me. They were kind enough to help me. I mean, we had to point directions because obviously language barrier. I know a little bit of Japanese, like arigato, sumimasen. I did practice some Japanese before I got there, but once I got there, I guess I was too nervous that my brain was just like, ugh. And there was so much going on, I couldn't think. So once I got to the subway, I was so lost because each train takes you, I mean, there's a process, right? But it's so confusing to go from like one spot to another, and then there's like some stairways to get to the other side, and I was just like, this is so confusing. So I had to ask a lot. I felt bad for bothering so many people, but like I said, I got lucky that people were kind enough to help me, and I managed to navigate through with the help of people. Thank you, arigato gozaimasu, for everybody that helped me. I love you. But I managed to get lost in the subway as well because I jumped from one to another, and then I ended up in the wrong trains sometimes, so I had to turn around and go back and then enter a different train. But eventually it got to a point where I think I was right before the last 2 stops, and there was a businessman, a Japanese businessman, and I said, sumimasen, I'm sorry. He could tell, obviously, I look like a foreigner. I am a foreigner. And he's like, oh, I can speak English. And he spoke English, and he was like, yeah, I can help you. I can stay with you in the subway until you get to where you need to be. And I was like, oh my god, arigatou gozaimasu. So I had this Japanese businessman in the train, and he's like, I believe in you, you can do it. I got so lucky, like I said. And he got on the subway with me. And then he told me, okay, he guided me. He's like, okay, here's the next stop. I have to get off on the one that's coming up, but you stay on. And then the one after that, after I get off, you get off. And that's where you're supposed to go. So I said, oh my God, thank you so much. So his stop came up. He gets off. He's like, good luck. I believe in you. Have a good day. And thank you for visiting Japan. And I was like, oh, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much. And I was stinky. I was so embarrassed. I was stinky. I was embarrassed. And I was lost. So yes, the entire time, and it sucks because the entire time I was so nervous. So I was stinky even more because I was sweating. And I was like, ew, they probably all smell me. And I'm just, ew, you know? So I managed to get on my stop, and I get down, right? I have no signal. I have no internet connection because my SIM wasn't working. I get off, and then I follow, like, the signs. I walk through, and then I leave the station, and I end up in front of a 7-Eleven, right? So here I am, outside of the station. I see a 7-Eleven directly across from me, and I'm just like, wow, I'm in Japan. I am in Tokyo. This is my dream come true. I wanted to cry because I was nervous and happy at the same time. I go into 7-Eleven, and in my mind I'm thinking, okay, I can get a SIM card in here. Maybe, right? I don't know. I'm new to this stuff. So I go in there and I say, sumimasen, SIM card. And he just looks at me. He's like, eh? And I'm like, sumimasen, SIM card? SIM card? And he is just confused. He was like, no. So I said, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And I just leave. Like, I leave awkward. And there's a map right outside of there. And I look at the map and I'm just like, I'm cooked. I'm going to be a homeless person in Japan if I do not figure something out. So my big brain turned on. And I was like, you know what? My big brain turns on and I'm like, you know what? What if I turn off my location, or not my location, but I used my big airhead, right? So I was like, yo, let me turn off my data. So I turned off my data. That ramps up your bills, so be careful. I turned off my data and I was able to look at the Google Maps, right? It was a little bit jittery and laggy, but it took me to the location that I needed to go. But it took me to the wrong house because the streets were so confusing that the houses, they had the same number. And I was like, I knocked on the wrong door. The man was angry, of course. He sounded like he was beating his wife anyways. But anyways, and then I started knocking on other doors, which was really bad on my end because I was definitely bothering people. And they didn't answer. That's when I started freaking out because I was like, okay, nobody's answering the door. I don't know which house it is. And apparently my family was out at 7-Eleven, like, walking around. I'm like, please. I didn't even know they were. But I stopped to ask this lady on a bike, and she obviously said something in Japanese and ignored me, which is, you know what? That's fine. And then I asked another couple that were walking by the park, and they were confused, but they kind of understood what was happening. And at this point, I was already freaking out. And I started crying because I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. This feels horrible. I know I have the right house, and this is where it's taking me. And I feel like I'm bothering people. And I was just like, what a horrible experience. Oh my God, it's one thing after another, right? So luckily, this Uber driver, the Uber Eats in Japan, in Tokyo, he was walking, or he was on his bike going down that street, and they stopped him and they asked him to help me. And he knew exactly where the house was, so he took me to the house. And at that point, my family finally came back. So we started knocking on the door, and they opened the door, and I was like, oh my god, arigatou gozaimasu. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for bothering y'all. I was just like, arigato. And I was just like, oh my, I went to cry to my mom's arms. I was a big baby. And I was like, please, it feels horrible. It feels horrible to be lost somewhere where you have no idea what you're doing, where you're going, and it's one thing after another. And thank you, arigato gozaimasu, to the people that helped me in Asakusa, Tokyo. Because without you guys, I don't know what I would have done. But I finally got to the house. So here I am, finally in the Airbnb I'm supposed to be at. The house, beautiful. As soon, this is the Japanese style, you know, the traditional Japanese style. And as soon as you walk in, it's stone floor. That's where you take off your shoes and your umbrellas on the side and all that stuff. And then you walk in, and it's just beautiful, right? So after that, we decided to take a walk down Asakusa. And it is absolutely beautiful. It's so quiet. It was nighttime. It was so quiet. We walked to the temple, to Sensoji Temple. And it's just, to see it in real life is so unbelievable. The temple is huge. It's so clean. It's so bright, vibrant. And you can tell the people of Japan take care of everything. Like, everywhere you walk, it's so organized, so neat. And the way they present themselves as well. They have, a lot of them have very clean clothes, very nice, neat hair, and even it's just, I guess it's the way they are, right? It's a cultural thing. But when we were walking down Sensoji Temple, you can see they had like weeping cherry blossoms, and they had vending machines. Vending machines were everywhere. So walking down the street, easy vending machine access, the convenience stores everywhere. So it was really easy to stay hydrated and very easy to stay with a lot of energy, because when you go into the convenience stores, you have easy access to snacks and pretty healthy food. Obviously, they have junk food as anybody else would, but yeah, I would say it was very, like, it's so different. It's so different from what you living in America. It's a very different culture, obviously, and I would say that the way the people of Japan are, it's very lovely. I know I've seen some people say that Japanese people can be very, I guess you would say, racist and whatnot. And honestly, I'd say every country has racist people. Every country has people that are judgmental, that are bad. But every country also has good people. And I will say that I was lucky enough that most people that I interacted with in Japan, most Japanese people were very kind. Some, but very, very few were rude. Like the lady on the bike, she was rude. But most, there was a guy on the train that was sitting next to me that clearly did not. He was just like, and I was like, don't worry, I don't want to have any problems. So you scoot that way, I scoot this way. But most people were very sweet. Like, I will show you the videos of the Asakusa and Sensoji Temple, and then I will make another part to this video. Thank you. Look at how quiet it is. It's so quiet. It's 12 a.m. hungry.
What do I scream really loud?